Hello, and a very warm welcome to my Thrive and Shine tribe. So, today we have another very special guest. Her name is Dr. Aparna Pandey, and she's a dental surgeon by profession. And she's also a certified NLP practitioner and a life coach. She specializes in narcissism as her subject. And very recently, Aparna, am I right? She has also authored a beautiful book on this subject. Aparna, what is the name of the book? Please tell us about it.
First of all, thank you so much for having me, Bharti. And my book's name is Awaken Mind Healing Blueprint.
Wonderful. So, Dr. Aparna, I am very keen to know why did you choose narcissism as a topic?
Well, Bharti, I have chosen this topic because I myself is a victim of narcissistic abuse. So I know how it feels and what it takes to come out of such a situation. So I really want to help people and I want to be vocal about it. So I'm here to help others.
Wonderful. So wonderful. So, for those who do not know, and we would certainly like to know a lot more about it, narcissism is a mental health condition. I'm so glad, Aparna, that you're shedding light on the NPD or narcissistic personality disorder. And there seems to be so much of confusion surrounding this topic. Can you please help us understand what it really means to be an NPD?
Absolutely, Bharti. Actually, we can define a narcissist or an NPD, who is someone who has long-standing pattern of not having empathy, being very grandiose, being arrogant, being entitled, and tend to be very superficial. They are constantly seeking admiration, validation, and they cannot tolerate frustration, not at all. And so they are very aggressive and they are in raised. It is important to understand that narcissism is not a diagnosis itself. So it's a personality style, very similar to introversion or extroversion. So it is just a personality type. And if I call someone stubborn or something, it's not a diagnosis. So we can't label narcissism as a diagnosis either. People don't like to be diagnosed, right? And if I'm saying someone that you are depressed, people may don't like it. But if I tell them that you seem to be in a bad mood, they will be angry, right? So we can't say it's a diagnosis.
Perfect, perfect. So, what I understand from you, Dr. Parna, is that is a personality style. It's a personality type, just like an introvert or an extrovert. Am I right?
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
So help us understand a little more. Let's just deep dive into this subject a little bit. What are the traits? Maybe you've talked about some of them.
Yes, certainly. People with narcissistic personality trait are often referred as energy vampires, or you can call them energy sinks. So this is not a label to them as a good or a bad individual, but I'm trying to highlight the unique challenges associated with this personality type. Living or dealing with someone with NPD is extremely challenging and it may be very dangerous sometimes. So, NPD individuals can be successful, can be charming, and financially prosperous. They often excel at manipulation, which helps them to navigate their way throughout life. So, it's important to consider the impact of victims of NPD. Victims may start questioning their own sanity, eventually realizing that they were manipulated into believing they were the problem. So if people start believing that problem is in themselves, the victims start thinking like that.
Okay. So, you started by telling us what NPD traits are. So, if I understand correctly, these are individuals with a very self-inflated, self-important, yes? So, they are like God-like people, superior to others. Is it something which can be labeled as having excessive self-love? Or, are these people who are self-centered? Am I understanding correctly?
Bharti, self-love and NPD are quite different. NPD individuals constantly seek excessive admiration from others. They genuinely believe that others are inferior to them, and even reality suggests otherwise. Totally opposite, right? A significant characteristic of NPD is the lack of empathy. They has huge lack of empathy. They struggle to understand and relate to the emotions of others. But again, they are very good to fake it. They can fake that they are empaths and with very clear, remarkable precision, they can fake it. He has a strong sense of entitlement, as I told you, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to fulfill their desires.
Uh, Dr. Panna, you just said that these are people who just don't understand empathy. And empathy is what makes us humans human beings, right? So, I mean, this is sounding so cruel and terrible. Tell us more about it, please.
Okay. Some other traits are like they are very charismatic and incredibly charming. They wear a mask that appears so genuine that it's difficult to recognize the danger until it's too late. NPD individuals fear intellect empaths. So if a person is intellectual and is an empath, is a real fear for an NPD because they that is the only place where they might let their guard down. So NPD individuals chronically seek validation from others. Unfortunately, they have a tendency to manipulate and exploit others for their own gain. Empaths are their prey. They only target empaths because they don't have their own feelings. They are not empath, they lack it. So they actually, what they do, they absorb the energy of an empath and live their life on them.
Okay. Then, so if there are people who are living with NPD individuals, how do these NPDs treat those people who are so close to them?
Oh, I like this question a lot because this is really important to know and understand how it feels and how to recognize such situation. It is essential to understand that NPD individuals never show their true faces to everyone. They're not like very, you can't catch them. Not everybody can catch them. So people who are close to NPD, like a spouse or children or any very close friend, mostly in family they target. So they are their victims. NPD individuals are skilled chameleons. Slowly but surely, they erode their victims in every aspect, like financially, socially, mentally. Employ tactics such as gaslighting, blame shifting, and severe silent treatment, which can drive a normal people clinically. And sometimes, if they're triggered, they can be extremely violent, not just mentally but physically too, causing harms to others.
Dr. Parna, you just talked about some words like blame shifting and giving silent treatment. So that is something which we understand. There's also a term that you use called gaslighting. Now, what exactly is gaslighting, if you may please explain to us?
Yes, Bharti. Gaslighting is a manipulative tactic that make you doubt your thoughts, your feelings, your perception. A person doing the gaslighting lies, hides information, and changes events to confuse you. It can make you feel so insecure and question to your sanity. Gaslighting harms your confidence and even the ability to trust yourself. So eventually, you will lose your self esteem, self-confidence at all.
Yes, I completely understand, Dr. Aparna. Um, I actually have seen some cases, and it is so unfortunate how these people fall prey into these traps because of the unawareness and the red flags that are being overlooked. Um, so, what would you say about that?
Yes, Bharti. People can unknowingly find themselves in relationship with NPD individuals. Even if they recognize the situation, it can be incredibly challenging to escape this trap. As NPD individuals fear abandonment, so they manipulate their victims with great expertise. So awareness is crucial, and it is really difficult to come out of so and so situation.
Okay, Aparna, how does one really develop NPD? Is it a personal choice? Is it genetic? Or is it influenced by something else?
In most cases, individuals are not individuals having abusive childhood, or the person who has failed childhood neglect develops narcissistic personality traits, and it comes both ways. Children who receive excessive parental pampering and care, they may also develop NPD. And while those who has faced neglect and unrealistic expectations from their parents also suffer such kind of things. And as the cause is really unknown, this is not very specifically written somewhere, but some experts believe that genetic factors also contribute the development of NPD.
So this actually puts so much of responsibility on our own parenting that we need to be careful about, and that is the reason that we see that researchers are saying that the number of NPDs are increasing by the day, also because of so much of influence of social media. So can this be cured, Dr. Aparna?
I can't lie, NPD is a personality type, and so it can't be cured. Yes, we can manage it to some extent. If someone recognizes that they have NPD, they can work on controlling their behavior and can engage themselves in beautiful practices like meditation, exercise, and sports. People with narcissistic personality disorder may don't want to think that anything could be wrong with them, so they usually don't like to go to a therapist, and though they don't seek any treatment. Seeking help from a therapist is essential, very challenging for a NPD individual, as they don't accept their reality. So you can't see such cases that a NPD is approaching a therapist or a coach. It is very rare.
Okay. And which brings me to an understanding that because we cannot cure it, then we must do something to prevent it. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Uh, as the cause is unknown, so we can't exactly know where the prevention comes. But as you said, that parenting has a very important role in this. So a childhood care is really important for the mental growth for anyone, any individual who has a beautiful childhood. May develop very good personality, or has someone who has very difficult time in their childhood, they develop some. I had a bad childhood. I have a traumatic childhood, like I had sexual abuse, mental abuse, or such kind of financial lack, or I didn't have a good schooling, so I may develop a narcissistic personality.
Um, so, as important it is to understand who a narcissist is, it is equally important, I feel, to help people who are dealing with narcissists. So, what would you say to them?
Yes, very important question you asked me right now. So for the victims, the most important advice I can give is to distance yourself. If it is possible to escape from the relationship, uh, do it as soon as possible. Falling into the trap of hoping that the NPD individual will change with certain actions or behavior is futile. So it will never work, and the victim will eventually lose themselves completely. For those who cannot escape immediately, such as those with NPD parents or a spouse, they should set boundaries. So setting boundaries can uh, prevent them to some extent, but not completely.
I think that's very useful. That's so much in detail about the narcissistic personality disorder. Thank you so much, Dr. Aparna. That was extremely useful, and I'm sure it will help so many of our viewers. And to our viewers, I would say that it is so important to remember that only a mental health expert can truly understand and resonate to help the NPD victims. They really need professional assistance to be able to navigate through these challenges that they face, which you and I may not even be able to understand. So, if with this understanding and clarity that we have got from Dr. Aparna today, you find that you are dealing with an NPD personality, the first thing that you need to do is to distance yourself as much as possible. Please go and seek mental health expert support. Stay safe, but also stay compassionate towards yourself and make healing yourself a priority. You deserve it. Thank you so much, Dr. Aparna. This was in so much clarity that I have understood. I'm sure the viewers would have benefited immensely. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Bharti. I love to be here, and uh, my best wishes to the viewers. And stay safe. Take care of yourself.
So, till we meet again with another beautiful guest, till then, thrive and shine.